So we're doing an encore piece here. And what's your name, brother?
Heritier.
How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, Heritier.
And what's your background?
I'm from Congo
Uh-huh.
originally, and Ottawa based, artist based in Ottawa. I do painting for like 15 years now. And yeah, my work is about human condition, focus on my identity as a Bantu people. I try to integrate historical aspect and contemporary aspect in my painting to create a dialogue in different subjects. So especially with this painting is part of my research that I'm doing right now. It's about reappropriation. How I can reappropriate the idea of colonial narrative through the image. So our image can has a great, a big impact in our perspective and perception. So I try to rebuild a new narrative through painting, and then to question about the history, but also to build a positive perspective about ourselves, about the society, environment. So yeah, this is about my work, what I do right now.
And I remember the very first show here. I think your work was in it because it was a huge piece. And what I remember was the floating. Always, what? Why floating? Like you always are floating on, like they look like they're floating upward or there's floating, moving around.
Exactly, because the idea came from this piece. So this photograph, I got them from African Museum in Belgium.
Right.
I work with them. They helped me to they helped me to have an archive image on this period, colonial period. So what you can see here, you know, they don't have a value. They seems like they are sauvage. This is the colonial view, the Western view of us. But when I try to bring a different angle to give a powerful perspective ourselves, how we see ourselves. So as giants, as a great, a large and a long civilization in the world, we impact, we brought knowledge everywhere in the world, like Asia, America, whatever. But now only few experts know about it. Only even in Black people community, many people don't know about what we did, what we brought in the world. So through the painting, I just try to it's kind of a remembrance
Right.
of what we did, our ancestors did, and then to pay tribute for their sacrifice, for what we did, they did for us, and to say, you are not sauvage. I reappropriate what you do, and I accept that because you are my ancestor, and then I'm proud of you, and then I keep continuing to your heritage, and then for the future.
And yeah, because I did see the pictures, and I was thinking,
Yes.
the historic kind of, and I mean, we know the whole history of King Leopold and
Exactly.
how he,
Exactly.
he was a
Yes.
savage in
Yes.
terms of the millions of
So
Congolese he
this
killed.
image has a propaganda
Yeah.
to justify that they are sauvage. Colonization is very important to civilize them.
Yeah.
But the concept of civilization depends where you are, because the way you define your environment, the way you try to be part of your environment, is a kind of civilization, because you build a community, you build art, you create houses, the material you use, it's intelligence. You build so. Somebody cannot come and tell you you're not civilized.
Yes.
I can civilize you.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So we still live in this narrative in our consciousness.
Yeah.
So we need to break that, and then to not to create, but to refer our ancestors' narrative, and then to continue with that to develop.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying, because to be civil is to get along with people, right?
Exactly.
And so the idea of civilization, like you're defining it,
Yes.
if I'm in a community getting along with people, that is a civilization, right?
Yes.
And then something I keep thinking about is also what I call colonial chaos. So you know how we think of the ordered, sort of, clean, structured. And I remember the way I thought about this was I was in New York at one point, and somebody was complaining how some of the new immigrants who are like selling on the street and doing
Yes.
all of this stuff, and they were saying how it's really, dirtying up New York and And I remember in my head thinking, but what do the indigenous first peoples of this land think about your big tall structures and all of that?
Exactly.
That's dirtying up this land.
Because they did not ask anything. They were
Yeah.
living their life, and then they were connecting with the nature, respecting the nature. So now, for example, now the big subject is the climate change. But who destroy everything?
Yes.
We need to question
Yes.
that. But everybody became responsible of the climate change, but we are not, because culturally we respect the mother nature. So all these questions we need to to bring it on the table and then to question that.
Absolutely.
That's why I love art, because art is a way. It's kind of it's a mirror effect. It's bring us our own image and to question ourselves. So we need to be able to be able to question, to say, we are just human beings and we're not perfect. We make a mistake, and then let's question that and then go forward.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Have you always created, been an artist since you were a child, young one?
Yes, of course. I started with drawing, and then I was influenced by cartoons. I was doing cartoons when I was young, and then after my secondary school, I decided to go to a fine art school in Kinshasa, in Congo.
Right.
And I finished in 2007. So from 2008, I started working as a professional painter since today.
And are you carried by any gallery right now? Anybody representing you or anything like
Not
that?
yet. I need to find a gallery who really understand my work and my vision. It's not only about money or selling work. It's also about finding a space that really fits to what I try to say, what I try to do. So it can take whatever time, but I'm keep working, and I don't think in terms of galleries. I think in terms of making impact through my work. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for talking to me. What's your IG, your Instagram? Hope people can reach you.
Yeah, it's Heritier Bilaka
Underscore.
Underscore and Bilaka. Heritier is HERITIER _ Bilaka BILAKA.
Excellent. Thank you for talking to
and
me.
my website also is
Okay.
www.heritierbilaka.com.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, I
Merci
appreciate
beaucoup.
it. Merci beaucoup. Yeah,
Beautiful work. No, I've always loved the work.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I love this idea too of the sort of like very modern contemporary dress, but they've got the history on their bodies, because our black bodies are also being impacted by the histories that we're carrying, right?
Of course.
And then you've got the possibility of how we can, transcend.
Exactly.
Right? It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you.
Yeah.
And then also the interesting of the columns. What's the significance of the columns?
Yeah, the column here, I was inspired by Egyptian column and Luxor temples.
Right.
It's symbolically it's a reminding of the lost civilization,
Right.
the destroyed civilization.
Right.
So column is just the rest of the proof of this civilization exists.
Right.
It's not exist anymore,
Right.
but the proof is there.
Right.
So I just want to bring this idea of the sense of civilization,
Right.
and in Central Africa, Bantu people. Even when you go to Mali, like there's a long wall. It's in Mali. Yeah, I think it's in Mali. It's proof that people just build. They use stones or whatever to build their space, to build their country, to build their home and things like that. When even you go to Sudan has the most, in terms of number, pyramid compared to Egypt.
Yes.
But people just focus on Egypt compared to Sudan.
Exactly.
Sudan is the ancient Kush.
Yes.
So this column is a proof of, it's symbolically, I try to say it's a proof of civilization lost, and then we need to to pay attention to that and to bring it back. It's part of us.
Well, it's like even Hadrian's Wall in England, which is revered as a sort of historic evidence of civilization.
Yes.
Well, Hadrian was possibly a person of African descent who actually moved into Europe, because Africans were there before.
The term of Europe was a woman, an African woman and a black woman. that creates Europe. She was a woman, a black woman. She created Europe. When you see more, they civilized Spain, and then they have a, even in Renaissance period, you can see black people in the Renaissance period during that time. They brought knowledge, they brought technology, they brought everything.
Yeah.
So we were part of, we were part of all civilization.
Absolutely.
In the world. So it's part of us too. Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent. I'm glad I asked you that. Because that's another great theme. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Wow. Isn't that brilliant? Wasn't that brilliant? All right. That's it. There I am. There I am. A little bit of color. Wait. Hold on. Color.
No, I practice the song. I don't come down here often. I know.
Love that.
Practice my
Let me go
salsa, but I don't
take my friend home. Bye. Good to see you. All right. Were you one of you was the photographer?
I am the photographer.
That was at the
The
Black
band,
Women's event.
Yes, for Band Gallery.
And I love what you said about how you document and the sort of thing. Yeah, there was something you said that I sat with, and I meant to talk to you, but I didn't get a chance.
Wow, what's your name?
Douglas.
Douglas, I'm Patricia. Nice to
Yeah,
meet you.
no.
What did I say? We were just talking about just black people making more work and existing as ourselves authentically in opposition to a colonial system. And just existing also in general, especially the black women on that project fighting so much to exist. Yeah.
And I think what you were saying was how it's important because it's evidence.
Yes,
It's evidence. It's a way, and you were saying, the word you use is you're witnessing.
Yeah.
When I'm documenting this, when I'm witnessing for a larger community by putting my work out that other people get to see. Somebody saw that. they know that we exist. It's funny, I was talking to the brother who did the artwork down there with the floating bodies, and he was saying
That work is beautiful.
he was saying the same kind of thing, right? Like I create the work to challenge this notion of civilization, who was
Yes.
civilized, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so that's what I was remembering. Yeah, that's I'm glad I remembered it because
I'm so
I remember
happy
just
you
sitting
also
there
tied
going,
that conversation to that those paintings over there, because that work is phenomenal and definitely it's on my mind because it's so, I want to use the word abstract, but it's also very transformative, and it's also like otherworldly.
Yeah.
It challenges our memory of what they told us the past was,
Yes.
and I love that.
and I think that's what you're doing with your work too. Is
Thank
you're
you.
creating representations, evidence, a witnessing of that history that's been. Because
Yeah.
all those women in that room, many of them, I think of, I go to the supermarket, the store, the West Indian store in
Corner.
Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
I see this person, a politician, this person's been in the community working.
Yeah.
So it's all that evidence of
It's
everything
bearing
that we've been,
witness. Yeah,
right?
and also like in our time, like in real time.
Yeah.
Because we're occupying the world with them as
And
well.
it's important that your generation's doing that.
Yes, I feel like sometimes we have to work harder because so much
Yeah.
is happening too, you know?
And what I love is that you're looking back and looking forward at the same time.
Yeah, which is it's a beautiful place to be
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember to look forward more though. That's
Yeah.
my thing. Like,
Yeah.
what is the future? Like, what do I think the future could be? And
And the fact is that those ancestors and those elders, or we call OGs, they kind of laid the groundwork to allow. Because even when I think of my family, the stuff that I do is because my mom and dad came and said, go to school, go out there in the world, we're going to work hard and make sure you have what you need. And now our generation is able to pass it on to you guys to say,
Yeah.
well, we've now opened some frames and some doorways, pathways, walk through and keep going.
walk through and keep
But
going.
then every now and then you look back and say, oh yeah, but I know y'all are there. I know y'all are there.
Yeah, and I hear you. When you also look back at the previous generation, you're like, I hear you. Like, I really
Yeah.
am listening, and that's important. And how we translate what we hear into what we do.
Yeah. And what's your IG?
Patricia Ella, at Patricia Ella. Do you want me to give it to you?
How do you spell it?
PatriciaEllahh. And this is my sister Tamar.
I could see that. Are you an artist as well? You create? You create?
Yeah, she has some work. Her
What kind of work?
Let's show you. Yeah, I'm gonna get to it first. This is her
Oh,
work.
that's on this I saw, and I was thinking, oh, that's Budu.
Yes, it
What's
is.
your heritages? What's your
We're
background?
Nigerian.
You're Nigerian.
And our grandma's Jamaican.
Your grandma is
Yeah, our
Jamaican.
grandma's Jamaican. So my mom's side of the family is Jamaican, but our family's Nigerian.
So what, did your mom's side of the family move to Nigeria?
My mom's mother moved to Nigeria. So she actually emigrated from Jamaica here and then moved to Nigeria.
Wow, why?
My
How
mom
come?
was born here. How come? There's actually a big wave of Caribbean people who moved to Africa at one point.
So is it part of that kind of, I want to go back to somewhere on the continent?
I
And,
think there was definitely a movement for, because there's also a bunch of Caribbean DNA. It's not my DNA. There's a huge Caribbean group of people who left Canada to move to Nigeria. So I think a lot of people don't, I think with the whole Afrobeat conversation and dance hall, people don't realize how interconnected Jamaica and Nigeria actually are. So that's my take on it. Like, there's a lot of Jamaicans in Nigeria, and there's a lot of Jamaican culture within Nigeria, outside from Jamaica coming into us from top artists and etc. There is a huge,
from the ground up, there is stuff.
There is Jamaica within our culture, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of Jamaicans.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because every time I listen to dance, to Afrobeat, when I say Afrobeat, there's fella Afrobeat,
Yeah.
and there's a current Afrobeat,
Yeah,
right?
So 70s,
Yeah.
Afrobeat, 100%.
Whereas the
we also
current
see it.
Afrobeat, when I hear that, go, that's a dancehall influence kind of beat, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't take away from the fact that it's still Nigerian and it
Yes.
still should be celebrated.
I would say that especially my grandma, she lived in Nsukka, and so there's still a lot of Jamaican people, and so Nsukka is like Lagos. Nsukka is deep in Igbo land and Igbo people. So I also feel like within Nigeria, we are also not dissecting who is Caribbean and who isn't. Like if you live in Nsukka, then there's also people like Magic Fashek.
Yeah.
Like there's also street culture that's so close to Jamaican culture.
Yeah.
I think that now we're in a very over-analyzing place where we're like, this is Nigerian, this is Jamaican. But I feel like there's actually a really deep crossover that takes, it's the diaspora, you know?
Yeah,
It's like,
and you're in a family where you live it every day.
we live it every day. We live like that,
hybrid, transnational.
Even the show downstairs, it's a reminder like we all are speaking the same language, but it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
There's Nigeria, there's Jamaica, there's Trini, there's like Kenya, there's like so many people. So yeah.
Great. And you're my last interview then, because you're an artist. So show me your work again. So yeah, because I was trying to get everybody who was here, but I didn't get everyone. There, beautiful.
Yes.
So tell me about your work.
So my work, I would say, is influenced by music, spirituality, and like the African diaspora. I would say that these two artists, Buju and Labaja, very core for my childhood. And I also think that in a way, I would say, with the boundaries that Labaja broke with his music, it inspires you that honestly, there's no limit to who you can be as an artist. Like, he was a saxophonist and he is a saxophonist and just so amazing. Buju, I think for me, like, Africa, I used to play Destiny all the time on the radio, and this has always been a song that I've always thought about, remembered, and also I would say in some form is a reaffirmation. So it was really good to paint him because I've been thinking about Buju and Destiny for a really long time. So I'd seen this image actually on his Instagram. So I was like, I have to bring this to life. And I did that. And even with this, I wanted to play with more spirituality through abstract in his saxophone because there is no limit with what he has done with his music. So I really felt like these two men depicted spirituality, confidence, affirmation of where you're going, and that there is no limit. Yeah, these are both acrylic paintings.
Beautiful. And have you always created? You and
Yes.
your sister, you've both been in a family that encouraged creativity?
Yes, my mom, she's an artist, so we have always been influenced through art. She used to do like classes. She used to do classes, drama classes, and like just a lot of like drawing, painting classes as well. So it was really good to kind of see her work, and we were definitely always influenced by her.
Fantastic. What's your IG?
My IG is Tamar Ella, so it's TamarEllah. For my painting page, it's painted by Tamar Ella, so that and my first and last name.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Thanks for talking.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Sorry. All right, let's go, Yad. Oh my God. Poor Dion. There she is, still drinking.
I'm drinking water going, there's Douglas. Because they're now, the instructions have been given to start.
Come on, gone Yad.
Pretty much.
You ate though, did you eat? You ate a few little nibbles?
When you mentioned I had to try the sardines with big jam, which was very nice.
How was it?
It was good.
So what do you think of the show? What do you think of this whole experience?
It was lovely. Thank you very much.
Besides being abandoned by your date? Clearly was corralled into other duties. Because you saw me coming kind of like chilled out, not gonna then do anything.
So I shall tell you the origin story, which is that Douglas and I walked in, and one of the staff said, "Oh!" Douglas did not have his phone in hand, and one of the staff said, "Oh, where's your phone? Usually you're documenting and taking pictures." And Douglas said, "Oh, I'm trying to, be without it." And and then of course a few more of those, and therefore Douglas took out the phone, and well, approximately 2.5 hours later, pushing almost 3 hours later, the phone is still in hand, and Douglas has interviewed everyone and has walked through, has seen all the art, has spoken to the artists, has spoken to the patrons, and did as he does because he was asked and it was called upon. So there you go. because he didn't start the night with any of
People
it.
know. I sometimes
Yes.
walk in with every intention not to, and then people look at me and go, what's going on?
Yes, and the sort of guilty party was the first interview that he did tonight, because it seems like y'all had a long chat at the beginning.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes,
That first one.
very much so. So she has given instructions to the rest of the staff now. Time for a soft cleanup. So I said, all right.
And you heard that and went,
I-
okay.
I heard it and I said, okay, you go, boss lady. Yes. Yes. And so, as you can see now, the staff are like
hustling.
whipping
They're moving
around and picking stuff up to slowly move us out.
when I was upstairs at one point, they turned the lights on. And I think they're trying to tell us to go downstairs, at least clear the second floor.
Yes. So I think
Right.
it's a 10 o'clock departure there.
Yeah. Wow.
There you go. All right. So you want a final on you? Any final
Sure,
words
fine.
and thoughts as
You
you
know,
wrap it up?
again, lots of chats with people about documenting, and a lot of people are saying, and of course they're like, are you an artist? I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, come on, I see you around. We watch some of your videos. It's clear that you're doing something that's art-oriented, and of course, what are you going to do with it? Where you're storing it? It's clearly an archive. There's all kinds of stuff we go to that is historical stuff in the city, some which doesn't exist anymore, even people who don't exist anymore, or we just go to kind of catch things that we missed or that we saw. Oh, let's go get that thing again. So, and some possibilities of seeing it as there's lots of raw footage that could either be curated into some kinds of shows or whatever. So it's kind of, I'm in the spaces, these art spaces, and while I'm doing this, I'm also getting my own affirmation and sort of, ideas, inspiration, encouragement of what I could do with this. But at the end of the day, what I just do love is just having a record of some of this stuff. Just having a record that, as I don't know if you were upstairs when they were talking about the show, and saying that, 30 years ago, you wouldn't have this. 50 years ago, 100 years ago. So the fact that we have this, and to just not have it documented or have it anywhere, to me would be like, oh my goodness, right? When it's such an important moment in time. So, and I just love my people. I love black folks. I love documenting their wonder, their amazingness. And also these amazing artists who, talk to them about why they do their work, how they do their work, what they're trying to say, what it means to them, how they engage with art, is always amazing. As I find with anybody. Because I'm more globalist in terms of when I do this stuff, I talk to all kinds of people. But black people, there are particular histories that I'm interested in because it's a shared history. It's always incredible to me to hear the fullness of how we are fully human in all kinds of ways that sometimes the larger systems try to take away from us. So I think that's also why I document, right? It's to constantly be affirming that. End off, as Courtney would say, end off. And look at this beauty, including you, my friend Dion, who's been one of my best friends forever. And she puts up with my mess. And the only rule she has about
Forget it. You don't
videotaping-
even need to say it. It's all right.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
I
in
thought
other
you
words,
said
one of the
end
rules
off.
is
Did you say
not
end
even
off?
say it. Well, this
Literally,
is one of
when
our
you
banter
say
that
end
always
off,
happens.
It's like, okay, goodbye, hang up.
But you should have stopped it, but you didn't.
Oh, I realized.
You
I
gave
don't
it
know
back.
what
The mistake you made,
Okay,
was to
so-
give it back to me.
All right. Well, here's the last piece because I think we'll end with the back of Mia and